Hey, what's up? I'm choosing to pre-record this one instead of just live streaming it. So I'm looking on BitChute at Bombard's body language, and so here it's just I feel compelled to want to talk about this. Don't ask me why. I'm noticing this probably is a Secret Service agent. I'm just noticing this off the top of my head. That is one weird looking fucking ear. Um, and that's not the first time there's been a guy with really weird ears in the Secret Service. And I asked about the one that everybody knows, who's like super tall, bald, and has the cauliflower ears. That's what it is. It's kind of a weird cauliflower ear, and that comes from people that do a lot of grappling, right? Listen, we don't have any other leads, and just because you want it to be some sort of thing that proves that he's wearing a face mask or he's a mutant or an alien or an android or whatever, I don't care. But what I really want to talk about is, see, I'm having a hard time believing that there are two Trumps, but what I do know is that um you can't, you're blonde, but he's also there's a silver-haired Trump. And I swear to God, it's the same guy. The wrinkles all seem to be there. I can't find a change in mannerism. Uh, it's like maybe there's a time traveler thing going on, and maybe this is Trump. Maybe this is Trump in about 10 years from now or something. I don't know, because silver-haired Trump was never on the scene until he lost the election. Then I noticed there was a silver-haired Trump. I believe it was his first speech or second speech after he lost the election, or the election was in turmoil or something. And then he comes out and like, where'd all his gold why is he silver haired? And then later said, oh wait, he's blonde again. Okay, so he dyed it, but like your hair doesn't grow that fast. He hasn't had that many like haircuts. Did he dye his hair silver? There's no roots showing, right? Think about like this conceptually. Um in short, either it's Trump and Trump's future self trying to fix the problem, or he's a fucking um twin brother, perhaps, or clone, right? But like, if he's a clone, he's a fucking grade A fucking clone. His wits are there. He talks like he always does, right? It's like the deep state gets the bad clones and uh the white hats get the good clones. Is that what the fuck we're looking at? What are we fucking looking at between silver and gold hair Trump? The only other option is that he's been somehow marked, perhaps on a spiritual level, where his hair changes color in accordance to things. Because what I find amazing now is silver and gold. The sun, because we all know that Trump's got serious Apollo energy. He has a service to Apollo that is practically obvious. And he's not much to be known for his relationship with, quote, silver, other than I'm sure fine dining ware. But we're talking about, like, now he's perhaps there's a silver standard and a gold standard of Donald Trump. It's been something that has been brewing in my conspiratorial psyche for forever. And I don't talk about it much ever because it's political and it's below me at this point. But when it turns into such juicy gravy, I therefore must say something about it, because this can be related to the Mandela effect, which is one of my biggest deals in the grand scheme of everything. Because I be so bold as to say I may have an influence on the Time Wars themselves. So this is also exciting for me to think about. But also terrifying because, once again, we don't know. And remember, Trump's a Gemini. Maybe this is unlocking the other side of his psyche. And, perhaps in a good way. There's a serious kind of consistency. We have to at least respect the fact that he was dealing with a republic and trying to do things as a republic and not want to tyrant over the tyrants of Congress. Because unfortunately, it's also a spiritual reality that, we became a commie Nazi state after World War II. We kind of were one beforehand because of our ideals with the progressive movement, as well as the rise of National Socialism before anybody had a completely negative opinion about it, and the media campaign about the conclusion that the Nazis had committed a Holocaust, which I'll give them the benefit of the doubt that conditions in Europe would have gotten 6 million people on the lower regs of society that were not serving in the war, civilians, citizens, fellow nationalists, were dying, and they didn't know what to do to save them. Because don't we find it odd that that story doesn't exist? It's all just death camps, death camps, death camps. But what about refugees from conquered parts of Germany? Where were the civilians? Maybe that's what the fuck those camps were, and why it took so long. They were starving because they were losing, right? And then they talk about all the fences and shit. They probably seized the place and turned it into a prison camp because they were fucking Germans. They didn't know who they served. And they got that way. Even worse so, because they were now captured by the enemy. And then the enemy said, maybe they're Jews. And we said, oh my god, they're Jews. And how would you know? They're all emaciated. It's hard to tell if you have fucking Jewish features. We knew there were Jews in there. But at that point, you're so fucking emaciated that you're not really picking up on you look Jewish. Right? Because there's a lot of people that are not Jewish that have a certain look. And also, you can just keep your cameras focused on just the Jews that were in there. Because there were a lot of Jews that were in Germany. And unfortunately, like Mein Kampf was a thing, and Mein Kampf was extraordinarily critical. And the Nazis did deport Jews to Palestine. In fact, if the Nazis didn't deport Jews to Palestine, we wouldn't have the state of Israel. And I'm not trying to say anything bad about Israel based on that, other than they are the victim of conspiracies as well. Because how do you tell the Jews that they're so stupid that they are letting Nazis run their country? Jewish Nazis. Because the Nazis dropped the anti-Semitism once the state of Israel was established, so the Jews could have their nationalist race state. The Nazis were trying to give the Jews power the way they were trying to give all races power, in fact. But unfortunately, there was a lot of other social aspects that were excluded from this way of life being established. And it's hard to say what was going wrong, other than the assumption that it was a socialist economic model. But that was a functional model for a Fuhrer, because a Fuhrer was just getting a unified Germany that, you know, he's just a king. He was king. You know? Instead of calling him chancellor or whomever, you could have called him fucking king. An elected king. Some places elect kings. There's a way that they do it. I think they just have to be in the bloodline. I mean, that's what the fucking your religious central institution is doing. You're trusting your fucking religion, like the Church of England, to put your bloodline in fucking power, or just you in particular. Doesn't have to be your bloodline, right? But everybody likes the law of it being a bloodline. Why? They want the values of the king that they like to pass down to the prince that they are that they know is in line to be king, right? And so society follows that family in an important way, so that way they have control over their lives. And a quote good king in a non-anarchist society has that whole family brotherhood camaraderie as its central ethos amongst people of many, many tribes who have intermarried cousins, and everybody is happy and they have healthy habits of going outside of their own tribal core to keep a healthy and robust genetic pool, right? And not just keep it to becoming almost nationally inbred. This kind of thing is a potentiality that happens. A really great video game, among some of the last video games I had time for, was Nier Automata, and you're fighting robots that have very complicated programming, where the entire game, you're asking yourself, does this robot pass the test? The AI, the sentient, the digital, does it pass the digital sentient test, right? And so you're asking, is this a character that is just on autopilot that is an actual enemy? Or is this a robot? Because all the robots are designed to look almost exactly the same amongst a handful of types. And you find out that there's that ones that look exactly like the enemy are fucking super cool and they like you, right? This is probably also part and parcel to what people that like go and they're field agents in the NSA, CIA, or whatever. They go into enemy territory and they're learning that, oh, there's people here that have our values and are rational, that want to talk, right? Because obviously there's a bunch of robots that are programmed to not want to talk, right? And that's the most essential psychological break of who, if they want to be a persistent hostility, then by natural law, you're allowed to kill them because they are a persistent threat to your life. And common law will honor that if you understand your ritual, your rights. Often I think about what happens when I get in fights, or when I'm having the natural male urge and fantasy to want to punch some dishonorable swine in the face, right? You get it just from watching people of low character in the media, and you just have this fucking hatred for their character. Whether Donald Trump's character is authentic or not, as far as I know, this is his authentic character. This is all I have to work with. That and hearsay that he acts like some sort of Hitler behind the scenes. I get it. I fucking get it. But everybody understands at this point that Congress is the absolute core of cognitive dissonance on the left, and some sort of dysfunctional denialism on the right. That's more what the right is. It's dysfunctional denialism. Since we kicked the neocons out, the Republicans don't know either, because people like me are all they got fucking left to fucking work with the minority of the upper class types. And it puts them in the hard place of seeming like my enemy when they're trying to be my friend, but they can't tell me because it's literally the mind virus on the public is that bad. And then that's the reason, under natural law, why God has us protected. Do you understand? Right? That is something that does exist within natural law, within such a body politic as the Republic. And it's still difficult. I'm still interested in undermining that until anarchy. But, and by anarchy, I don't mean 2020. Excuse me. Man, surrealistic what happened. George Floyd, motherfucker. But anyway. All right, this point has been rambling on for what I thought was going to be 3 minutes. But I just want... I had to underscore why me doing this political conspiracy Q-ish. It's a very Q-ish thing to do, and that's why I hate Q. Because I hate that being something that is no doubt going to hit the algorithms that I am adjacent to. And it's irritating because I don't want to follow Q at all. I don't want any psychic space there at this point. If a Q follower knows how to fucking speak my language and translate Q to Zeralath, I'm all ears. Cheney? Talking to you, Cheney. Cheney knows who Cheney is. Shout out Cheney in Wonderland. Alright, I'll catch you guys later.